Hey guys, welcome back to Random Ramblings. If that's what we're calling it, it's a thing now.
It is.
Um,
We're in episode 6.
yeah, I guess like what we were talking. So it's been weeks now since we last talked to you guys in our time. It's
Yes.
been a week for you guys, but
It's been
after this whole crisis happened, we kind of been like at our own places for a while.
remember we cannot say the name of it
Oh no, I know.
because I have to edit it out if not.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
I just said it if he edits out it without actually just beeping it or anything like that.
No, I just edited out the fucking thing.
But we were just listening to our last time we were making a podcast, and I don't want to do this anymore because I hate my voice. But I guess we were talking about Flash, which I remember none of it.
Yeah, because it's been a while, but it was from the joke. If everybody doesn't remember the joke,
Didn't watch it. Didn't just watch it.
or M could say the joke
like
again.
if you want to know it, nope, not telling the joke again. Just watch the video. It's at the end of the video.
Lazy ass.
Not lazy. Just, I want people to watch our videos. Why would I give it to them now?
Don't skip to the end. It's someplace in the video. You just have to figure it out.
I mean, I'm not that much of a dick. It's in the end. But
So why do you like the Flash so much?
Because they write it
Besides
correctly.
Speed Force.
Well, they write it correctly. I mean, like the only thing I hate about it is the fact that they can't just come up with an actual reason why Flash is good besides Speed Force.
But he doesn't like run through somebody and makes them explode. He doesn't like punch somebody out of existence.
Oh, I mean that you can say Speed Force. I'll agree with that. But you can't say everything is Speed Force. That's when I got annoyed with Flash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why did the lightning bolt go from straight down curve into?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because Speed Force.
Comic book science. Like I have to give like a little what is it called when you the benefit of the doubt on that one. You know, just like it's fine, comic book science, whatever. You know, the lightning bolt came in, hit none of the metal instruments, went for the glass beaker. Like I get it, all right, sure,
yes,
whatever. But
that's
like,
how he got.
I'm just hearing my own voice now in my head. Like this is hard to do. But the whole idea of like this dude is literally the fastest creature in the universe. That I really enjoyed. Yeah. You know,
can bend time, travel through time.
Like strength progression made sense. It's not like Goku where somehow doing push-ups in like 100% gravity makes you become God. It's very confusing to me. But at least with Flash, you know, if I run faster, more shit happens. Well, it makes a lot of sense,
yeah, but
you know?
It's like what they did with One Punch Man. I do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats every goddamn day for like 10 years, and I can one punch everything.
Okay, like if that's literally what he did, just 100. There's an actual thing.
They actually put it in the anime where he said like how did you get so strong, and he explained.
But it wasn't like 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100.
It was something stupid like that. It was literally something dumb like that.
Because there's an actual workout called the Murph that I like to do, where it's a 1 mile run. You wear a 20-pound vest. You do 1 mile of running. Then you do 100 push-ups, 200 pull-ups. No, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats. And then you run another mile, all while wearing a 20-pound vest. I don't wear the 20-pound vest, but I also don't want to be that strong, you know? But there's an actual workout called the Murph like that. And I'm pretty sure I won't be able to punch a hole in the planet after I'm done 10 years of doing that.
Oh, so I looked it up. The One Punch Man workout routine: 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, a 10-kilometer run, so it's about 6.2 miles, every day, 7 days a week, and that's all he did. But that's what they explained. That's all he did.
You need to rest your muscles. Like
that's literally the One Punch Man workout. It says that.
The only muscle you don't need to rest is your abs. Like, you can do your abs every day.
Penis.
That's not a muscle. But, like, your abs you could do every single day, and you were completely fine. But anyway, going back to the Flash, It's just like, the progression makes sense,
Yes.
It's not like Superman where he wakes up and now has rainbow vision, which is a real fucking storyline.
Yeah, we went
Or
over
like,
this before.
3 weeks later he's getting hit with blue kryptonite and became a chicken. Who knows? Because I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
The colored kryptonite was really weird, to be honest. Like the fact that not just green kryptonite, blue, pink, yellow.
I think it's blue. Hold on, blue,
red, like all those different. I don't know why red kryptonite would affect him if he absorbs the red rays of the sun. So I don't know why the red kryptonite would, if there is a red one, I don't know why the red would actually affect him. Doesn't make sense.
And what is kryptonite then in that storyline? Like, is it solar powered?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, if the red kryptonite is the same properties as the red sun.
No, but that's what I assumed. I don't know how they based it off of if there was a red kryptonite, because I never really went into that part as much. But I think it's more. It's supposed to be a chunk of his home planet, which for whatever reason makes him weaker. Well, I mean, again, they had to write it in because they needed the God character to have some type of weakness.
Oh yeah, that's that thing too. Like,
because that was
the touch blue kryptonite on Bizarro, he becomes like Superman, like Ultraman. Basically, not Ultraman from the Japanese TV show.
No, there was a character called Ultraman.
Oh, are you serious?
It was the Crime Syndicate.
Well, whatever, like the most
that was
super, like like how
that was
Dragon Ball Z, you have double God mode Goku.
Yeah.
Like basically, it turns Bizarro into double God mode.
Because it was the one. I know it was one of the Justice League movies, but that was the one that had Owlman, all of that, where Owlman was
Crisis on Infinite Earths. No,
I think it might have been.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It was the one where they convinced their Flash to like run really fast to stop the time stream or something like that.
No, it was
and they kind of fucked it, like Batman fucked him on that.
Something like no, it was the Crime Syndicate's one because it was to maintain a certain like vibration, but in doing so you would actually age yourself to the point where you would just die. And that version of Flash was the one that he tricked into doing because he's like, oh, you're faster than our Flash. So he's like, oh yeah, I am, and he did it. And then he's like, oh, you tricked me. You knew this was gonna happen. He's like, yeah, that's why I said what I said, you jackass. Like,
yeah, and even that Flash is like, fair play, man. And then he just dies. It was great.
And he was Australian.
Yeah.
But that was the one. But their version of Superman was called Ultraman, which why I started to laugh when I first saw that. I was like, that's not Ultraman. He's giant red and silver dude.
Yeah. He's friends with Kikaida or some shit like that.
Yeah. But that's what kind of threw me off. But there is an Ultraman though. So there is Ultraman in DC. I mean,
well, like, but you know what I mean, though. Like, it turns Bizarro into basically the double God mode that Goku does. I stopped watching Dragon Ball.
But then in turn, it turns into the last son of Krypton.
Yeah, like he's
because the last
overpowered. Like, because you gotta imagine that whatever happens to Superman is the opposite for Bizarro.
So that means the green kryptonite should make him stronger.
Yeah, and blue kryptonite literally strips away the power of super people.
But
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And I think there was a kryptonite. I mean, again, like, this could have been a side story that they never used anymore, but I remember there was a kryptonite that, like, had a
made
whatever
Superman gay?
Well, there was one that made him gay, but I don't remember that storyline. I remember people talking about it. I do know one that made Superman, like, randomly into anything. Like, he could become two chicken. He could become a donkey.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was really weird. But Flash will always beat Superman. Like, Flash would always beat everyone. The only person Flash can't beat is Batman, and that's only because Batman will play psychological games.
Well, that's the thing. Would Flash be able to actually beat Flash? Because that was the whole thing of the Flashpoint paradox.
No, I think no, and only because the universe will allow it.
They would just cancel each other out and do the whole like the whole thing from Back to the Future where you meet yourself and things just blow up.
Yeah, I think it'd be like.
Or you could just faint.
I think they did like a cosmic reset or some weird bullshit.
Yeah, something like that.
I again never read that one.
But it's one of those time travel paradox things.
Yeah, I honestly do believe though that like it would be. Hold on, let me move this table a little closer to me. There we go.
But see, technically, Flash against Flash would cancel each other out. So yeah, Flash against Batman, but because Batman has contingency plans against everybody, And then Batman's contingency plan is the Justice League, which kind of is
Not really. He also has like a.
No,
I mean, if you believe the DC universe, the MOBA that they made.
But that was
In that one, they said Batman's contingency plan was to use his parents against him. Like he actually recorded it for everyone. He's like, if I ever go rogue, use my parents against me. And I think like the contingency plan is when the first DC comic, not DC, but Detective Comics first came out.
potentially. Because I know that.
I'm pretty sure that's
because that was the explanation that they gave in the
like
Vandal Savage
every one of his
series.
passwords is the first issue of Detective Comics.
Yeah,
It's usually DC and then whatever I think it's in August or something like that. I mean, again, I'm
because
a comic nerd.
Yeah, because it's an homage. It's an homage to.
I
the
just
creator.
sound like a comic nerd. I'm not like.
Well, I mean, we
I'm
know
not
enough
those-
to get by.
Yeah, I'm not those like, oh my god, you should like, really read like Superman. You're like fuck that.
Thick.
Like legitness.
I got a little bit of a lisp. A thick.
Well, I do have a list. I'm not gonna lie on that one.
Yeah, but you like I haven't heard you like really lisp.
I'm very conscious about it. Like I don't like.
So you're
This is where my
multitasking.
lisp comes out. Like I have a lisp that really does come out when I speak, but it sounded stupid and I got teeth for it. So I got really good at practicing keeping my S's within the teeth.
Yep.
And I just
So-
have a long tongue. Like
so
I
you're
literally do have a
multitasking
long
then.
tongue. Yeah, I'm
Because that was
consistently-
that was in one of the previous episodes we were talking about multitasking and
you
not being
actually
able to do
can't.
two things at once. 'Cause-
Yeah, anyone who says I'm good at multitasking, you're not. You're using the same. You're good at you doing multiple things with the same side of the brain, but you're not. You can't
No,
actually.
it
Like,
was two different.
say
I thought,
the- like,
I thought it was.
say
I
the
thought,
alphabet
I thought it was two
backwards.
different. I thought it was two different sides of the brain. That
No,
you
yeah,
could
no,
use
that's not,
multitasking.
you can't really look at the brain as sides because it's not two dimensional.
No, well, I mean, because you have the left. Well, I mean, yeah, but the left and the right and the frontal lobe.
Well,
but-
yeah,
But
okay.
I remember your explanation when you were saying it's if you try to do two things that require the same portion of the brain, it screws you up. Because that's what happened too. Because I was showing you something on my phone, and you literally stopped because you're trying to comprehend it and speak at the same time, and you shut
Exactly.
down.
Exactly. It's like have somebody.
Because
I'm going to give you a bunch of things to put in order. Okay.
yeah,
From smallest to largest, and while you're doing that, you have to do the ABCs backwards.
and I will still agree with what I said in that one. That's still hard as fuck to do.
No, yeah, no, you
Like,
can't. You
'Cause
can't.
You
I
have
gotta
to
stop doing
really
that.
concentrate from Z to A, and you're like,
You guys want a drinking game? Every time I say yeah, no, yeah, which is going to be a lot, take
Or,
a shot, and you're just going to end up in the hospital.
He says a lot. but
Well,
I have to edit
because
out.
my brain
Shuts down.
runs too quickly for my mouth to keep up. Like, I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm just saying I'm ADHD and bipolar. Like, my brain races.
His
and
mind
it's
is
usually
going
about
like
stupid
as
shit.
fast as the Flash.
God, no. Okay, so the Speed Force, like, the number one question I had was, and they had to write it with the Speed Force, was that.
Because his thought process
Like-
goes faster than.
Well, no, like, when he's running fast, how is he perceiving all the objects that quickly? Well, his brain runs as fast as he does.
Yeah.
So if he's running the speed of light, he is perceiving objects at the speed of light.
Yeah.
So to him, it looks like a jog.
Yeah.
Like he's jogging past planets. But to us, it's just a blur of red, you know? And, like, my question is, then, for in his perception, it takes him as long to run across America as it would to take me to run across America. You know, like, let's say it takes me a month to run across America. Straight.
Yeah.
Non-stop.
Doing the Forrest Gump kind of thing.
For him, well, for it stops. I'm talking non-stop, day and night, no food, no sleep, no water.
Technically, he just kept running.
No, of course, they're not going to show him eating at a fucking diner. But,
Well, people did give him food when he was running on the street, too, so that could have done that, too.
how do you do that, man? How do you eat and run? I can't eat before I run.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? But anyway, like, he perceives time at the same rate we do. It's just...
Because
and
time
I-
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Because
It's-
we did that explanation, too. Like, even though you're moving backwards at the speed of...
Yeah, you're still perceiving 12
You're looking
o'clock.
at 12 o'clock. It's not going to change because time is a constant. And you can't really
Yeah,
change
like,
that.
well, it's not
So-
that, but it's the 12:01 is too slow
Yeah.
to catch up to your eye, so you'll only see 12. But with Flash, it would take him. He would feel like he's running for a month.
Yeah.
How the fuck is he not bored? I know it's quick, but for him it's not. For him it's a month.
I mean, because that was all the same thing in the.
Well, that's where Flash. That's where the Flash. What is it called? The Speed Force comes in.
Yeah.
Where he kind of just shuts down his brain for a bit and runs on autopilot or some bullshit excuse.
Well, because that was the one when he kind of did his explanation in the movie with Vandal Savage, the whole contingency plan one, where it was where Batman was like, he's using my plans against you and da 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 da, just made it like more just made it able to kill, versus mine was just made to stop you from like losing, from like going overboard. And his whole thing was because he's constantly running and he's moving, but even he said he's getting tired, and he was running what would be perceived to us as an hour, but I mean to him it would, like, I would say it should be the same hour, but he's constantly moving. So does his hour
like,
actually?
Have you ever ran an hour? Like, that's long.
Yeah.
That's tiring.
But that's why he was running, and he's like, oh god, I'm getting tired. He's like, oh, are you far from an iceberg? And he's like, I'm never too far from anything. Give me a sec. And he just ran towards an iceberg. Like,
like for me, like I ran nonstop about 6 miles. Once I was going from my house to a mall that was 6 miles away from my house.
mm,
Not long, I mean, that's not even half a marathon.
yeah.
And that took me about an hour and a half of straight running, and
Okay.
it was tiring. It was honestly tiring. Can you imagine now this dude's running around the world for an hour? But again, like, how is he perceiving the time? Is he perceiving the time
And
as an
he's
hour?
still able to have cognitive conversations
Yeah, like,
with
it's-
Batman. And like I want Batman's
See, that's the thing,
communication thing, because
that's
that
the
shit
reason-
is amazing.
I think that's the reason why I like Flash, is because there's no way to really like explain.
That's why they say Speed Force, and that's why we say Speed
like
Force.
if you ever any movie that involves super speed, like Days of Future Past, the X-Men movie.
Yeah,
they
it's Quicksilver.
Made. Yeah, where Quicksilver was like
Quicksilver was
acting
great.
like super chill while he was running, and everything kind of seemed like it was running real time for him. Yeah, like.
Well, I mean,
imagine
technically
him
everything
doing
was
that
stopped.
Yeah, but now imagine him doing that to
Because
like,
that's the same thing. That's why he was able to like do what he did with the he put up the dartboard and put the dart there, and then like drank the Coke and ate a piece of pizza, wrapped the dog up and threw him on, and did all the things he did.
No, yeah, but like what I was saying, like, and it, like that's
And, like, he's-
minutes are passing in his mind.
Or
When-
seconds,
like-
yeah. I mean,
Well,
well,
no, like only like maybe like at most, let's say a second, like 20 seconds, let's say, right?
yeah,
Real time.
yeah.
But for him, it was like when we're watching it, it was like a 14-minute scene.
Yeah.
That scene, right? So in his mind, for 14 minutes, everything was going slow and he was doing shit.
Or pretty much like.
So
was
let's
it
say we
moving?
watched him run across America, right? And it took him a month. We sat in that theater for a month watching him, let's say, right? And everything's going slow and he's just running forward for a month.
Mhm.
How does he not get bored? I know only a couple seconds go by when he goes from like Washington to New York, but it feels like a month. How do you explain, being awake and cognitive for what feels like a month?
He's a mutant.
No, exactly, right?
It just transfers back to like Speed Force.
Like,
he's a
there's
mutant.
There's some questions.
You're a wizard, Harry.
There's some
you know.
questions that or there's some powers that are like hard to explain, and there's some powers that are hard to make look cool. Like, I don't give a shit who you are. Flying sucks. I said in the first episode. I'll say it in the last episode.
we went through this.
Like, flying is garbage.
useless. Besides being able to carry stuff, but again, going through the whole explanation, originally when Angel did first come out, he did have above average strength, like Batman kind of thing. He was like peak performance. But yeah, I wouldn't say he would
Yeah,
be able
but
to.
he can't lift shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he'd be able to lift like fucking huge ass boulders and crap.
Yeah, it doesn't
Not
make
like
sense.
not like
It
afterwards and like.
truthfully doesn't make any sense the way his powers work.
But that's why I liked him as Archangel. He was so much better as Archangel after Sinister changed him.
He was like on fucking whiny and shit. Fuck him.
Well, because I mean that's I guess the I would call it the Anakin syndrome. To be honest,
Well, I mean, okay,
evil whiny little bitch.
like usually evil
Or
people
Kylo
come
Ren,
from
no.
like whiny, bitchy situations, though. You know what I mean? Like I
Not
wasn't a
no.
good person growing up, and I came from a shit life. You know?
Not Kingpin. Kingpin's not whiny. To be honest.
Yeah, he is. He's my family.
He could give a shit less about his family.
Are you kidding me? No, man. That was his whole shtick in like a good chunk of Spider-Man's fucking book. That's why they put it in Miles Morales' movie. Because he's all about trying to bring back his wife and kid. That's yeah. He's the whiniest of the bunch.
Vandal Savage.
No,
Just
dude,
because he's lived forever.
You want what's his name? Fucking
Or Thanos, or even like Darkseid. They're not whiny.
No, Darkseid's whiny. Death doesn't love me.
That's
Oh.
Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos is
No,
whiny.
but Darkseid. Darkseid's not whiny. He just doesn't. He just knows he's a god.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
But that's not being whiny.
No,
that's,
no.
That's having a complex.
I mean,
That's a complex. It's not so much being whiny. So
I would
is,
love to be his psychiatrist. You know how
But-
much money I'd fucking take off his ass.
or he just vaporize you because you never get paid anyway.
Let's focus on your ideology of being a god. What makes you feel like you're a god? Do you feel like you're?
He would just zap you with his
More
fucking
empowered?
with his fucking red laser beam eye thing, and you just evaporate.
I see that you go straight to violence whenever you're dealt a tough hand in life.
Well, that's
Is this
because
a
it's-
constant for you?
I mean, he lives on a planet called fucking Apocalypse, for fuck's sake. Like,
I see that you live on a planet called Apocalypse. Are you secretly an edgelord?
wow.
Fuck him. He sucks.
See, I think it would be more interesting to be more Thanos' psychiatrist, because then,
You say
His-
you're in love with death. Is it the concept of it?
or the
That
physical
you-
being of death that that you
like
know
the
of.
physical feelings of death? And no, I
And
like the
are
physical being of death.
and are you-
the physical being? So you give her like
And are you mad at Deadpool? That's why you gave him immortality. Are you mad at him?
oh yeah, and it's just me like I mean that's why I think I'd be a good psychiatrist. You know, I'm pretty chill.
Yeah, why do I get this feeling that you're gonna be analyzing somebody and then you're gonna start like thinking about comics and then you're just gonna evolve into like you're making them into a character? Like what? Why are you so angry? You remind me of
dude.
Wolverine. You have so
Well-
much unfettered rage. What caused all of this?
Hey, you know what? If it helps the patient,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm taking philosophy and ideology. Not ideology. What is it called? So ideology, whatever
Sociology?
religion is.
uh,
Yeah, I haven't taken any of them yet, but
Oh, no.
I want to learn. Basically, I want to minor in religion and in philosophy because I always believe that like one of those two is going to save your life. You know, I may not believe in God. I may find them to be fairy tales, but if it makes you feel better, then that's all I care about is the patient feeling better. I really don't care about, let's say, what your belief is as long as you have one. I believe in stoicism. There is,
Mhm.
you know, there's no place in it for hope. Hope brings you up for a harder fall. I know you're very hopeful.
Well, I mean, we went through this too. Like it was the whole.
Have we? I don't know what we've talked
No,
about.
because I know we went through this one as far as like because it's like you're put on this earth like my explanation was you're put on this earth with a purpose. Yours was you're put on this earth.
To find a purpose.
No, yours was just you're put on this earth.
Oh yeah, no.
Deal with it. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't even to find the purpose. You're born. Deal with it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the
that's
same thing.
your
Like,
whole thing.
it's the same thing. Like whenever people are like, "Oh, this person was mean to me," I'm cool. Did you ever look at their life? You know what I mean? It's one of those like if we're first of all, yours is called essentialism or an essence. Essence in Greek was like
Oh, yeah.
a purpose. I'm of course stoicism, borderline nihilism. Really, there's
I mean,
no
you're always
purpose.
walking that fine line.
Well, I
there,
mean,
right?
like when I'm
You say you're a nihilist, but I think you walk that line.
yeah,
in between.
it's the bipolar in me. Either I'm like, if I'm really depressed and my depression really hits hard,
nihilistic.
then I'm a nihilist. There is really no point in life. Really, honestly. But there are moments where I see good happening to people who deserve it. Then I'm like, all right, maybe there is a purpose. But reality. I mean, not a purpose. There's no purpose.
There's just something.
Yeah, there's no thing. There's no God. But
There's just well, I mean, I'm not
like
saying
if there was a God, like I wouldn't
something's
be
a
here.
thing.
Like
Yeah. But
I'm the dude with demons on his body. Like
but
nah.
that kind of reminds me of what's going on now. I saw a post on Facebook from somebody. I know it was just getting circulated around, but it was you now have all these hardcore Christians that don't believe in what's going on right now with the whole pandemic.
What, they don't believe that the virus is real?
But the whole they don't believe.
I'm sorry. I'm like honestly shocked. They don't believe that.
Yeah,
this
so there's
is
the whole
real?
thing. So that was one of the jokes was hardcore Christians because they believe either God can save them or God is the cure, or they don't believe that it's actually happening, but they believe in a God. So they don't believe in something that they cannot see.
Yeah, because if you believe
Because
in God,
they
you don't
believe-
believe in science.
No, yeah, but it still comes down to the fact that people are proving that it exists. They have physical evidence that it exists.
What
But
exists, God or the virus?
The everything going on the virus because they have
Can we say virus? Like,
Yeah, I
what
think we
is
can
the
say
rules?
virus.
You know?
I think you just can't say the whole thing, and you can't say like the whole like the acronym and stuff like that for it.
Let's call
but-
it a beer. Like, this beer is really bad for America and
but-
for the world.
But the whole point was, so you as a Christian, believe in a God, and you can't physically prove it to somebody, but you say you just have to believe, and then when somebody brings you hardcore evidence of something that actually is there, and you say you can't see it, you don't believe it. It's like, wait, what? You're contradicting yourself on every level.
Again,
It's
like we
like, what?
say, like, you can believe whatever you want in our group. Like, we don't.
No, yeah,
we
I'm
have
I'm
a
not
bunch
saying
of Christian
yeah,
friends.
I'm not saying it's everybody. I'm saying potentially it could be the really hardcore.
Like, my wife
Bible
grew up
thumpers,
Catholic. You know
so-
what I mean? Like, my wife grew up real Catholic with her family. And, like, I go to church with them. They understand that I don't believe in it, but I will still go. I even give money once in a while. So, it's not... This isn't like my friend's black, so I could say the N-word. Like, we're not saying that, just because you know somebody means that you can do certain things.
I'm not saying
okay.
I'm not saying every.
But what we're saying, though, is that, like...
I'm not saying every Christian is like this. I'm just saying there are a handful of them that don't believe in this, but believe in this, and you're trying to preach about something else, but you're not believing in something that has evidence.
I don't understand that
It
the
throws me off.
disassociation between church and science. Like, I don't get it, because their pope, like Pope Gregory, was the man who founded the calendar we use today.
Yeah.
It's called the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, I mean, because of the fact that it was the same thing why a lot of the scientists like Galileo and stuff like that were branded heretics, because they're changing the mindset of the people at the time. So to them,
If they went a different route, they could have just said God made science, and it would have been so much easier. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you have the
Well, I mean, I know
science is nature.
I know you don't like the Da Vinci Code, like the movies.
I
But
don't like the books.
I know, no, but they did have an explanation in it where Ian McGregor's character, being the Carmalengo, however you pronounce it, he was supposed to be Italian, and he served in the military and stuff like that. He was a paratrooper, but even he understood, having beliefs, having faiths is one thing, believing in God is one thing, but you also, I'm not a man that talks down science, because science has been proven to do things that I think, because God created us, and He gave us the ability to do these things.
Yeah.
Why would science be looked down upon if God gave us this? So it's the whole thing of I'm not.
Yeah,
he's
but
not.
wasn't he like? Well,
Yeah, he's not- he
I'm
wasn't
not
talking-
Gonna,
yeah.
We're not gonna say that. Also, this wasn't the Da Vinci Code. This is Angels and Demons.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying it within the series, the movie series.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
It was the whole explanation of he's not talking down science. It's there for a reason. If God made us and we discovered science, that means essentially God made science. So what is the issue here?
Yeah. That's my biggest question. Like, that's my biggest, the biggest fallacy I find in it is the fact that, you could say that, and they choose not to, and it's confusing to me.
I guess because maybe they just don't want to acknowledge it, but it again doesn't make sense, because they could literally fix a lot of stuff by just saying, yeah, we did this, or God did this, and because God made us, in turn we made this. So I don't see why it wouldn't work. Like that to me, in a sense, if they all came out and said that, I'd be like, okay, there might be some semblance of something.
Yeah.
Because like we're not just making things out of thin air.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
So I mean, like, so that's the part that kind of gets me, and I would say it's a little bit more, would be more credible to me to have. Again, I'm not labeling every Christian this, but like the hardcore ones that don't, that try to follow everything that this is in the book.
But they don't.
Yeah, I know they don't, but they try to, or they pick and choose what they want to follow.
No, they say they do.
They pick and choose what they want to follow. But if one of those came out and went, oh, science is proven that certain things do this and blah blah blah, then I'd be like, okay, you're not as crazy as I thought you were.
Like our friend Jay Bay said, unless you're like throwing stones at little people and gay people,
yeah,
you're not following the Bible, because that's literally in the Bible. If you're not sending 3 dogs after every prostitute you see to eat her body whole, which actually happened in the Bible. Her name was Jezebel.
Yep. You can't eat shrimp.
If you're sending lava rocks from space at a city for using the free will you gave them, you're not following the Bible.
Yeah.
That was Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah. And well, I mean, my favorite ones that I know of, you can't eat shrimp, and people did point that out in protests where people were protesting certain things. Somebody came out and went, so this part it says you can't eat shrimp, so why are you eating shrimp?
Oh, there's this gay guy who
you couldn't wear clothes of more than one fiber, and people do that all the time.
Well, there's this gay guy who had a sign that said Thor hates gays. It was so funny. He was protesting against the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah.
With a sign that says Thor hates gays, and he's gay himself.
Yeah.
And as a gay man, I was
well, it's like,
was so happy.
It's still funny that people still go out to the protest and go like, oh, you believe in a God, believe in the All-Father? Because he's done more for the human race than God has.
If you want to believe in a God, man, you have to believe in the Titans, man. I mean, Prometheus made us.
Yeah.
I'm getting him tattooed on my back.
And I know we went through this too, because we were talking about the Greek gods, about how God.
Oh, if I died and went to heaven, and they're like, and there was the one God.
Yeah.
Right? We'll call him that.
Would be the God, as it would be quotation.
Well, no, because you have Yahweh, which is like, I guess God's true name, but it's not the Christian God.
I guess a version of God that you would see.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm taking Judaism, Christianity / Catholicism, and Islam, putting them into the one God.
Yeah, because
it's just different retellings of the same story in my personal eyes, and I've read all 3 books.
Because that was the other explanation too.
But if I died and met him,
mm-hmm.
like my questions would be the same as Stephen Fry's were. Like you gave babies cancer. What the fuck was up with that? Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're just a kid with a little ant farm.
Yeah,
that's all we're and you're just shaking shit up for your amusement.
Eat shit. You're. Why would you have
for
either you're not all powerful or you're not all good?
Yeah,
but so that can't be both.
And that was the whole. And especially if we are in God's image and we do bad shit, that means God also does bad shit.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Also, you allow us to be born of sin. Yet we have to apologize, but we don't have to apologize because Jesus died, so we don't have to apologize.
Yep.
Figure that one out.
So what's the point of going to confession?
Exactly. No, there's so many fallacies that I found in it. But that's why I liked the the Hindi Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
The mix of like Hinduism and Buddhism.
Yeah.
Because there, yes, Hinduism has gods. Krishna and Arjuna. No, Arjuna is not a god. He's a.
Well, I mean, cause they have a variety.
Yeah.
Same thing like Buddhism. You have like the 13 bodhisattvas, and
Yeah, but
depending on which.
But
version.
you don't need to believe in them. Like you.
Well, I mean, because essentially what.
Not in like Buddhism is changing. Hinduism is very like.
Well, it depends on what version of Buddhism.
Well, I was just talking to your mom about this, and she said that a lot of them are moving towards a more like follow the teachings, not the gods.
Yeah, because essentially the gods, this is another drinking game. I say essentially a lot So every time I say essentially, you can take a shot.
Wait, but you can only play. Oh, excuse me, I'm Johnny. You can only play one or the other. Because we don't want
Unless
to
you're drunken
die.
bastards like the guy who like the game of when you're drinking on watching the Love Boat. The guy who picks the boat is the drunk guy. Anytime the boat comes
So
on the
me.
screen, you take a shot.
So me.
The boat. Pretty much. But the whole thing that even my mentors, because I am Shingon Buddhist, was the 13 deities. They're meant for certain things. They don't cover everything. Each one is for something specific. That it's not so much. You have the belief of them, but you're not like giving yourself wholly to them, because each one will cover a different aspect of your life. So it's more what's relevant at the time. I think if I remember correctly, Fudomyo was supposed to be protection of the house to keep demons and stuff out, and now it's just for protection of the house. That's not your own personal body. So you're protecting your home. There's ones for the car. There's ones for in Shingon Buddhism. So for that one, you're not worshiping one. You're not even essentially worshiping like all of them. You're just whatever is needed at the time,
Yeah.
pretty much. So and then I understand like with Japan they're trying to also give it to make it more modern, so they get a lot more
That's the reason why.
a lot more younger congregation, because that's what
the
they're
reason
noticing.
why I'm going away from Buddhism, is because I enjoy the. Also, too.
Well, I mean, it's
Sorry, I'm just readjusting. Also, too, there's no. I don't like priests. I don't care what you're. I don't care I like gurus. Like anyone can be a guru.
yeah.
You don't have to have some more like extra spirituality or anything. Everybody's spiritual in Hinduism.
Yeah.
Now, when people ask questions like, why are there more female gurus, or why are there more male gurus than female? Or like, how there's more like, there's more male gurus than female gurus, is what I was trying to say. Sorry, I screwed that up. Like, you're wrong. Like, in the spiritual sense, it doesn't matter if they're male or female.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about Hinduism, was that, like, it doesn't matter. Gay, straight, tall, short, fat, skinny.
I mean, I know
male
and
or female.
yeah. Funny enough, you say you're shying away from it, but actually watching one, watching the.
I'm shying away from Buddhism.
No, yeah. Funny enough, you say that because we're watching that show on Netflix, the Japanese innovator thing, that I showed you. There was one where showing the 24 hours in the life of the strong women that do certain things, like they do like landscaping, they do construction, stuff like that. There was one where it's an actual church that all the monks there are women, and it's the same. Like they follow the same teachings, everything like that. Nothing's different, but they do the same stuff that the males do. They do the same teachings. They do the same sutras, chants, all of that. And that's the part that gets. And they even shave their heads, everything, dress the same way. Nothing's different. So to me, it's more now. I think because of the way Japan was and still kind of is sexist in a way.
Not
but,
even in a way, bro. They
are
full on
sexist. Yeah, but they're slowly. Granted, it is taking them really long, but they are slowly coming to the terms with that women can do the same.
The hardest thing is because of the fact that like Asian countries, and again, both of us are Asian by descent. Asian countries, they're very traditional.
Yeah.
I say a lot because I'm trying to word it correctly and like calm my brain from thinking about 3 different things. I actually just for a quick second remembered that I wanted to buy a motorcycle.
All right.
But they're too traditional.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the whole thing. The men are the ones that bring stuff, that are the bread makers, and then the women are the ones that cook, that keep the household good.
It's
stuff like that. It's the traditional sense where
Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now. I just did my finals for developmental psychology. We're actually talking about like gender biases, especially at home.
Well, I mean, because
after a baby's born, how like usually women would feel more like the gender equality role is biased towards the male, where he works, comes home, and the missus also works and still has to make dinner and take care of the baby, and that's biggest issue
Well,
when it comes to family life. There's this thing called a U curve for married life.
And that was the other narrative that I saw too, was the fact that because I know it's come up on some TV shows where men, because it's, I guess it's hardwired into us that we feel inferior if your significant other is making more than you. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it is.
Yeah,
it
no,
is,
because
yeah.
my wife completely, because I'm in college, so I do Uber and this.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm hoping that hopefully somebody watches us and likes us,
But-
at least one person.
But it can happen, and especially talking about psychology, it's something that a good percentage of men have experienced where their significant other brings home more than them, and they feel inadequate, and they don't feel like they feel that it's unfair to them because like they're not doing as much or being able to do as much or advancing their career as fast as their significant other. But in term on the flip side as well, when let's say you have a child, if both parents are working, why does only the female or the mother get maternity leave? Why can't the father also get maternity leave as well?
Some it's just depending on the
Yeah.
the business. Like,
But,
there
like-
is paternity leave.
Yeah, but yeah, only
'Cause
it's
I
only
had
it's
it.
only but it only comes a little bit more out now because before
Well, in 2010 there was, because I had paternity leave when we were working together at
the place.
the place.
Yeah, but see, that was the thing. It's a more recent concept than it was before, and it's still not as predominant as it should be. That most people think it should be, because if the wife goes, say, on maternity for like 2-3 weeks to take care of the child, or like a month or whatever, and she goes back to work, somebody still has to watch the child. So why can't the father then take the paternity, cover the next month, and get stuff in order, potentially
Yeah,
be able to,
I'm expecting a child in October too, and like
yeah.
that's the big
So
issue
that's
for me.
that's the part where it's like,
was like that's why we're having problems, because we don't know if I should get a job, or or B, try to just get this degree, which I'm not far away from doing.
well, I mean, the beauty of it is technically you can do,
Well, I'm far away
Online.
from getting my doctorate.
yeah, because you just have to
But-
go through all the whole,
Yeah, I still
whole,
gotta take
publishing
meds and
and-
like,
you have to publish the papers and all of that stuff, and
that's gonna be
A while.
tough.
at least like if you're just burning at it the whole time, I would say, like, for my mentor's brother, he went to a major college in the mainland, but it took him, I think it was like 5-6 years to do everything to get to where he's at now, to get published, all of that. But he was that's all he was doing, was just working at that to be able to get to where he is now.
Yeah.
So, but with what you're doing, with everything going on, there are certain things that happen where you're still burning, you're still going at it, but it's not fully lit because you're dealing with other things as well.
Yeah, no,
So-
it's gonna be a lot harder.
Yeah.
But again, like I grew up mentally disturbed, and I know that it's harder for other people. Like, I lucked out that I am sane enough to
Function.
understand that I needed help. It was a little too late. I have burned a lot of bridges and hurt a lot of people. That's why consistently when we're doing this, I'm always telling people that there's no shame in the therapy game, man. Like,
Yeah, ask
get
for help.
Yeah, get help.
Just reach out to somebody, even if it's a friend to talk to. Just reach out.
I was
to us.
I was on
We-
another
we-
island in Hawaii. Oh yeah, come to us. Like, if you ever
We're not experts, but we'll listen. We'll
not
talk.
yet. We're not experts yet. I'm getting there though.
He's not an expert yet.
I'm getting
Working on it.
But I'm pretty close though. I can tell you a lot about your developmental psychology from literally birth to death. Like, when you're 12, okay, there's two things. So before 12, you have this thing called concrete operations, okay?
Okay.
This is fun because it's the first time I get to actually talk about something that I'm very knowledgeable in. So you have this thing called concrete operations, where it's kind of like, the best way to explain it is, if I gave a kid some sticks, and I said, line the sticks up from smallest to largest, they can do it. It's a very simple concept.
Yeah.
It's concrete, smallest to largest. Then you have this thing called formal operations.
Okay.
That was called concrete operations. Formal operations would be the fact that they are now able to be like little scientists. Let's say I gave you a pole with a little hoop on it, okay?
Mhm.
And then I
Okay.
gave you 6 different strings of varying height, 6 different weights of varying poundage, and I told you to find out a combination of weight, string, and height. What actually among those 3 things causes the pendulum to swing fastest? Is it the length of string? Is it the weight of the
The actual
poundage of the
weight, yeah.
weights? Or is it the height that you drop it at?
Okay.
Okay? Now, if I gave that to a kid who's 10, like my daughter,
Okay.
she's 10 years old right now, I asked her that question, no fucking clue what to do first.
Okay.
She's like, I try everything. And I'm like, that won't work because that's too many variables you need to consider.
Yeah, you gotta narrow it down.
But if I gave it to a kid who was maybe not 12, unless they followed, like if they were into,
But yeah, going more into
like because
developmental.
not everybody hits formal operations.
Yeah.
You know, there are some moments, and I'll give you a different example of formal operations that everyone has used or everyone who has applied for work or college has used. But what you would want to do is leave the height the same that you drop it
Yeah.
at,
Leave
and
that
the weight's
variable.
the same, and then just use the rope and try to see from that. And if that doesn't change, then you change the weights. You leave the rope and the height the same, and you drop it, right? And you'll find out that it's the length of the rope is the answer.
Yeah.
Okay? Another way to explain it for people would be, have you ever applied for college or for a workplace? Well, what did you look for? Did you apply based off of like what they can do for you? Did you apply based off? Let's just use work for an example, because you've never applied for college, right?
Well, technically I did, but I just never.
You never went.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be easier to say work, right?
Yeah.
So did you look for, like, you didn't go for like straight up McDonald's, right? You didn't go for whatever paid you the most. You actually looked. You looked at, or whatever you can get easily. You looked for like how much money you might make, location of the job. You know, you used formal operations.
Yeah, it's
and
narrowing
you
it
did
down
research
to.
before you did anything. Everybody hits formal operations. It's just when, really,
Yeah.
and how quickly and how often do you use it. So that's a little like psychology lesson for everybody. That's developmental psychology for age 12. I could tell you everything. I could tell you from, well, the things that I really remember was from your first period or your first ejaculation of live sperm, which is called a sperm mark.
Okay.
I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. I think it's spermarch, but I don't know how to pronounce it because I'm taking online and they never really have a thing that tells me how to pronounce it.
You can always use Google Translate.
Yeah, but then I don't know if the robot's correct. So
That's true. That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard it speak Japanese once, and I went, "That's not right." You know, Naruto, shut up. Karaoke, shrimp tempura, no, all wrong.
You should be able to change the accent of the.
No.
Google Translate.
No, because it's always a French woman. Je vais, je suis, like it's always a
Vivi. La ve, un la ve, ve. I love that one. That was fucking hilarious.
Well, yeah, so I could tell you from that to death. You know, Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief. How
Did that number change?
They didn't. Well, it hasn't.
I know that because I've seen it like in Law and Order. It's like the stages of grief. It's like the denial, the acceptance, all that kind
but
of
it's
stuff.
not grief. It's the stages. It's actually the stages of a person coming to terms with their own death.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, but I don't think it sounds as dramatic as stages of grief versus stages of your.
Well, also too,
death.
like nobody cares about the dead person once they're dead. It's the truth of the matter, like how they felt up until death. You know, no
True.
one ever thinks of that. They only think of, oh, they died, and I'm sad. They never think to themselves like, fuck, this person knew that they had 3 months left. Like my dad. My dad had 3 months left to live. We knew it. He knew his death day. what fucking psychological trauma was he going through? You know what I mean?
Yeah, when
That's
you know
what I think
when you
about
know the when you
when
know
you know
what it
that
is.
the
Yeah,
ultimate end is near.
and like essentially he like it's not much. And it's one of those things where he doesn't have a choice. Like
Yeah.
that's when it's gonna happen.
Well, that's where you get active euthanasia, where a doctor, like, Kevorkian, helps you kill yourself.
Yeah, that's when you know. Okay, I'm choosing to do it. This is when.
Yeah,
This is
there's
how I'm
also
gonna
a
do it.
thing in palliative care and hospice care called like a good death. A death derived of pain, no pain, and you get to choose it. It's an honorable death. It's a decent death. Like,
And yet it's still frowned upon.
yeah,
Because
because of religion. No,
Yeah.
like I chose that the moment I find out I'm having cancer, I'm jumping out of an airplane.
yeah,
Like
See
the
what
moment I
happens.
know that, oh, I'm not going to survive this, well, I'm just going to get in an airplane. I'm going to go skydiving. I'm not popping the parachute.
parachute. No, you can't do that because of the fact that it can be done where the company might be at fault.
Dude, I'm practicing now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn how
You
to
gotta-
pack
you-
my own chute and everything, and then one day I'm just not going to. I'm gonna tie a bunch of string.
No, but you know how the media.
Forks.
But again, you know how the media does stuff where it's like, oh yeah, he bought his pack from this place and that, and it seemed to have malfunctioned.
No. I'm just gonna tie forks and spoons and knives.
Just
like,
do
like,
the Bugs
like,
Bunny and just put a damn rubber tire in your friggin'
Yeah,
pack.
yeah.
As
And then
your-
I'm gonna have
as
a
your
sign
spare.
that says "Oops."
Pull the
And
Wile E.
I'm-
Coyote, dude.
And I'm
Yeah.
jumping out of an airplane.
Just pull a Wile E. Coyote. Just run off the edge chasing a roadrunner.
Yeah, dude, that's my goal. Like, I don't care.
Go out with a bang, baby. Acme Company.
Like, there's no. Again, like I said, like, I'm not afraid to die. Not at all. Like, if it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a point where you're either around it, like being.
Since I was in, like.
I can't say being around it constantly.
Since
but-
I think it was in 7th or 8th grade, I've lost 1 to 2 average of a family member
Yeah,
a year.
But with something like that, it more
And
comes
close
to terms.
family members.
Yeah.
I mean, I granted, like, I don't like my grandma because she beat the shit out of me with the canes. And
But
I was like,
I would say I had the same type of experience where like I had all my grandparents, and then one went, and then not more than like a few months later, another one went, and then on my other side, it's like one's went, or my uncle went first, and then my grandfather went, and then my grandmother lived a lot longer than what was expected, so we were happy for that, but she was just depressed.
yeah.
And
No,
then eventually she
my
went, and it
mom's,
was just like,
my mom's best friend, her mom has, like, been ready for death for, like, 10 years now.
Yeah.
Because she misses her husband. And that's the thing, too. Like, I always tell my wife, like, if you go, I go. Like, I don't think I could survive without her. She's literally the reason why I'm getting mental help and I'm not
Well, I
wanting
mean,
to kill
it's
myself
like
anymore.
it's like those nice, it may not happen to everybody, but it is like those nice stories where you have, I mean, the basic scenario, you have childhood sweethearts that married, live together, they love each other, they're the same age, and they pretty much go at the same time.
Oh, there's another one,
Like-
too. Marriage is a U-shaped curve where you get married, you have the honeymoon stage where it's really nice,
Mm-hmm.
then it drops down when you have kids.
And
And
you
then
gotta get back
when
up.
it's called empty nests, when
Mhm.
once the kids leave, it comes back up again. And oddly enough, the death of a child will bring a family closer, a marriage closer, because you kind of understand each other at that point. It's crazy.
It does, and on the I don't know if it counts towards the other spectrum, but I've seen some where it just completely destroys them.
Oh, I'm not saying again. This is psychology.
I mean,
it's not
yeah,
physics.
but
I
I
don't
mean-
drop an apple and it's
But
always gonna be
yeah, but I
10
think
meters per second.
psychologically it does bring them closer as a family, but at the same time it can also tear them apart.
yeah.
even though it
it's-
brings them closer,
it's
it's-
rare.
it's-
It's
yeah.
rarer to lose a child and see the family be torn. I'm talking like from a disease or some shit like that. Not like a dad mishandled his kid.
No, even
Or something
even
like
even
that.
some of them like that they portray where the kid it's not either parent's fault, but they end up blaming each other for certain things,
Yeah, but then that relationship wasn't gonna work out
Yeah.
from the start.
But it's still one of those things where they're staying together
Like whether
because
the
of the
kid was
child.
alive or not,
Yeah.
that relationship was gonna.
But
break apart.
it's one of those things where the parents are staying together for the child, for the sake of the child. But something happens to the child, like if they get if they're driving home one day they get hit by a drunk driver. Both the parents survive, but the child doesn't. The father could resent the mother, going, "Why did you make us go out at this time?" Or the mother could say the same thing to the father. Why were you driving this way? Why did we have to go this way? Da 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 da. And they're just coming up with excuses, and to I guess come to terms with why the child died, but they end up blaming each other. And,
that's.
I mean, that's already. I know
again, like
at that point it's already set up to fail.
Yeah, and again, like I said,
But-
like the. Fuck. What was I trying to say?
The U curve.
Well, yeah. Well, psychology is not a. Sorry, I didn't mean to just clear my throat into the mic. Psychology isn't a guaranteed science.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking Latuda for my bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
When I was on 20 milligrams, completely fine. I bumped it up to 40, and I got this thing called akathisia. I can't pronounce it correctly, but it's spelled like AKATH, something like that.
Okay.
And it's the feeling of like one's own skin being ripped off. It's what people downing on heroin go through.
And
like they're like and they're scratching at their body, and they feel like they're so restless that they can't sit still.
Well, I would say
I went through that, and then I had to drop. So again, it's a trial and error scenario.
No, see, but that's not even necessarily psychology, because psychology, it's how the brain works.
No, but
everybody's brain works differently, but it's also the pharmaceutical side where even though a drug
that's a rare occasion,
but even though a drug is proven to do something, there are still side effects that may not happen to everybody, but everybody is different. And the drugs affect everybody differently, just like psychology would affect everybody differently.
Yeah, and it literally gave me panic attacks. But again, like it is like psychology, because again, pharmaceuticals, what is it called?
Like drugs and
what is that degree called?
Pharmacology.
Pharmacology. To become a pharmacist and whatnot, like again, that's also a trial and error scenario.
Yep.
Like nobody. Like there's no right or wrong answer. Again, like to fix my bipolar, we don't know if that would have worked. We just tried it.
Because it was like Viagra. Because wasn't it used as like a migraine, like something for it was
blood pressure.
Yeah, it was for blood pressure. But then they noticed that men got hard-ons heavily.
Captain?
No, I think you're shitting something. But men got hard-ons, so they ended up going, this is not a drug for blood pressure. It's a drug to give men erections. And that was a trial and error, because originally when it first came out, it was meant for something else, but this happened.
Like we gave me Latuda hoping that I hope he doesn't get a seizure. That's one of the side effects.
But again, I think that's the funny. I mean the Viagra one is a little bit different because it was proven that it consistently happened, regardless of what the person was. But in certain things like that have to deal with, I guess, would be like mental, would be like brains and stuff like that. It affects everybody differently. Yeah. And there's no absolute number that yes, this works for everybody, this works for everybody. No, you have to adjust it according to the person, and that's the scary part.
Like we might be like I don't know if we're gonna raise it anymore. Again, I haven't even been able to see my psychiatrist. I've just been able to call him on the phone.
I'm surprised you don't do like video chat or something.
No, he's old. I don't think he even knows how. This dude has forgotten that I've had an appointment with him a couple of times.
I think it's time for him to retire.
Yeah, well, he's really
just
good, though.
A bit. No, don't get me wrong. He could be
like,
great.
I called him at like 11 at night, bro, because I was having like a massive panic attack and I felt like my skin was ripping off. And he was super calming, and I was like, look, it could just be me. And he's like, no, you know what it is, bro? It's your liver. Your liver processes it too quickly, too intensely, and this is what happens, man. It's a trial and error. See, and I'm like, so cool, is there anything to stop the pain now? Because I'm kind of losing my shit. Like,
but see, I would say, yeah, he could be a great psychiatrist, great psychologist, but it's the small things that, you got to kind of just be like, you can remember everything from before, but if there's a certain point where you can't remember certain, like, things like appointments and stuff like that, that's when it's like, okay, I might either need to hire somebody to help me with this.
That's what I was thinking. Like, he has nobody helping him.
That's why. So it's like, if he's trying to like shoulder everything, it might be time to at least divvy up something.
But at the same time, I don't have good medical, so
there is that too. Yeah. So, but I still think it's one of those things where that's the scary part. I think where like pharmacology, I could equate to like Same thing like psychiatry and everything like that, where it's not guaranteed and it's not always this method works for everybody.
Yeah.
That's never the case. Where it's like, oh, this drug, this prescription, this drug should be able to do this, and certain side effects can happen. And say like 8 out of 10 people didn't get the side effects, but like 2 out of 10 did. That's still 20%
like
of the populace that can happen.
The DSM-5 is based is split up between a high agreeable rate and a low agreeable rate, and that's how you figure out what people have.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, that one.
No, it's super unreliable. Like,
yeah,
you can. I don't care how you spin it. Like,
I don't even. I wasn't even gonna say it's reliable. What I'm saying is, it's still that same thing where it's like the drugs work 8 out of 10 times without any side effects, but it's still that 2 out of 10 that still scares the shit out of me because you don't know as a person if you're part of that 8 out of 10 or that 2 out of 10.
Bro, yeah, but like if you suffered from bipolar and anxiety disorder, you'd be like, I'll take that chance.
No, don't get me wrong.
That's how I looked at it. I was like,
I mean,
man,
no, but it's still like
I'd rather not hate myself anymore.
But I'm not saying like it's going to be bad for everybody. But it's still that's the part that me not. Well, I don't know if I don't have any psychological disorders, but me being right now with thinking that I don't have any, that's the part that scares me a little bit more. Where a lot of the drug commercial stuff coming out. Oh yeah, you take this, it'll help with this. Side effects include this, and this. That only happened in like 10% of the patients. Okay, how many people did you try it on? Granted, you have to try it on if you're doing like human trials. Yeah. You're trying it in like a lot of different cases, but it's still, if you equate that to how many people are on this planet, that's still a big fucking handful of people that can happen to. And that's the scary part where it's like there's no way to physically that we can make it foolproof because everybody will react differently with something. So
but
I mean
that's the same thing. Like I'm a huge believer. Excuse me, let me just adjust. In placebo.
Yeah, I can see the placebo effect because I have seen them do the studies, especially with like the pharmaceuticals and stuff like that, where they'd have like the control group, which they just give them sugar pills, and the group where they have like certain dosages and like more dosage on others and stuff like that. And sometimes they'll say, yeah, the people who took the placebo pills seem to have a better reaction than those that took the actual medication.
No, yeah, your body wants to heal.
Yeah. But
it only works for some things, though.
Yeah.
Like bipolar disorder is a chemical imbalance of your brain,
and if it's already that, and there's no, I don't think there's any way to fix it. That imbalance.
Like I'm producing too much. I think it's serotonin. I don't think it's serotonin. I know it's dopamine. When I hit my manic, bro, I am pumping out dopamine stronger than I did when I was on X. Like and then you crash on it so hard.
Yeah, but surprisingly, that's the part where it does that kind of part scares me. It was like your body naturally wants to heal, but it is certain things and things of the mind. And of like actual like nervous system stuff, the body cannot heal it on its own.
Yeah.
No matter what you try to do, it can't heal itself on its own. You always need some type of intervention.
Yeah, I believe so.
Spinal damage, that kind of stuff.
There are some things like my dog is a paraplegic. It can't use its back legs. It can't use its lower half of its body very well.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is a chance that he could still walk.
Yeah.
If we keep it up, which we're trying to, but we've kind of accepted, and he's kind of accepted.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Technically,
but we still do it.
Yeah.
We still do his workouts, but.
Well, I mean, I like it's hard. I would say to equate it to like a pet, because they've shown signs of like a dog is born and like the development of the back legs don't work. And it's like the dog doesn't know any different. It just knows like, oh yeah, I'm trying to run around. I can't run around as fast, but I can still move around. And then they if there's no hope of being able to get the legs up and running.
Yeah, he just had to readjust.
And then they amputate the legs, and he's still running around like he would a normal dog or normal,
it was hard
like normal animal.
So he got used to it, and so did we.
So it's not so much he's coming to terms with it. It's more he's like, okay, this is what it is now. But if he does get his
Yeah,
if he
dogs
does get
do
his
live
feeling
in the
back,
moment,
yeah,
which is crazy.
and if he gets his feeling back, then it's just like, oh hey, I can still do the same thing. I just don't need this extra stuff, whatever,
Yeah.
and I can still do it. Doesn't matter as long he'll be happy as long as he's able to just do what he's doing anyway.
I want to
So-
apologize, guys. I know it's called random ramblings, and we do randomly ramble, but we do try to stay on topic with some things.
I mean, it did kind of blend into
Oh,
this.
weird segue. I just wanted to say that I was right. Like, I was reading it online, and I was agreeing with a lot of people that there was going to be a Ragnarok. There was some things, and we found out there was. So now there's going to be an Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. I realized that I set that up poorly.
Well, see,
Sorry
in that
if
sense,
everyone was confused.
both I would say
We're
neither
talking
of us
about
are wrong.
Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed Ragnarok. Just to let
neither
you-
of us are wrong in that sense because we were just seeing where they would go.
No,
it
no,
was
no,
just-
no. But
yeah,
I,
you know.
like, I was closest because I honestly was saying.
Well, I still
like,
agreed with you on the Vikings because
Of course.
it's still a set that they could.
Well, it
pull.
makes the most sense.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
Well, granted, Ghost of Tsushima is coming out in 2 months, little over 2 months, and they by the gameplay standpoint, they kind of equated that to what Assassin's Creed was as well. So it may not be made by Ubisoft. I don't know who actually made Ghost of Tsushima, but it has the same type of elements where it's like stealth based. So it's kind of like Tenchu.
But is it like modern times going into the past?
No,
Because
it's more.
I liked that.
Well,
concept.
that concept is strictly like Ubisoft. I've never seen any other company really do that. As far as like jumping from the modern times, going back into somebody else's life, or a descendant of your family, and you're being them. And stuff like
Back
that.
to the Future got close. He met the descendants, or he met his past family members.
That's true.
Technically,
No, but in a video game standpoint, but that one is supposed to be with time travel. This one is you're not time traveling. You're just inhabiting somebody else's body.
I'd say
You're still yourself.
family.
No, you're still yourself, but you're living that person's life. But you're still yourself. So, I mean, from that standpoint, but I think Ghost of Tsushima, the core aspects of it, they said it's really a lot like Assassin's Creed mixed with like Tenchu, where it's a little bit more heavily stealth based, where you still have the main fight scenes, you still have like head on fights and stuff like that, but you can still do a lot of stealthy stuff, stealth aspects of it, like Tenchu did, stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that one. I really want to do that for the channel. That was one game that I saw the previews for it. It looked amazing as shit. And granted, it was still a preview of it wasn't actual gameplay. It was one of the cinematics, but it was beautiful.
Holy
It was
shit.
amazing.
I'm gonna be real honest. I kind of zoned out. Like I was listening to what you're saying, and I was focusing on what you're saying, and I completely forgot we were doing a podcast because I was like, "Fuck, this game sounds amazing."
No, yeah. So if you want, you can look up I think it was one of the E3 trailers. It was
No, I just saw it on my YouTube because for me to focus, I need to distract my brain on something. So I was kind of scrolling through YouTube while I was talking, and I saw the trailer, so I kind of saved it. I
And
saved
that's-
it in my watch later.
That's that one I saw when they first announced it. I was like, this game looks amazing. Granted, it was only one fight scene where you were fighting another generally a boss, but it was a full cinematic. But it was amazing. It was like a rice paddy water thing. You had the buildings in the background burning, cherry blossoms falling as you're fighting. It's really symbolic, but it's super. To me, it was really. The scenery was amazing. The setting was perfect. It was just I'm really looking forward to the game. Hopefully, if it comes out the way they announced it, because granted, I think they announced it back in 2017, and 2018 they said they weren't sure if the game was actually going to come out. But it is I think almost fully done.
I mean,
They
I'm
released
still
it
waiting
in
for
a
fucking
couple months.
Starfield.
I'm waiting for them to revamp Anthem, dude. BioWare needs to get on their shit and actually fix Anthem.
Yeah, but it's EA's fault.
Yes, I will say that it was EA's fault on that one.
Like, fuck EA.
'Cause-
That's the number one thing that I would always say is, yes, EA is in charge of my Sims.
Well, I mean, it's still they're a AAA title or AAA company, but they try to pump out too much and they don't care about the quality because they feel they can that they can fix it either later in a patch or something else.
Yeah, but I'm not paying $60 for half a game.
Well, technically with Bethesda we kind of did.
With what game?
Well, I mean, look at Skyrim. Look how much bugs and shit there were.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same concept. They like the game comes out. Granted, you can't play test for every type of bug, and people understand it. But Bethesda has now a track record of releasing games that are buggy from day one, and then they fix it over the course of the first month.
No, Bethesda's really fallen off the wagon in the last year or so.
Yeah.
I mean, they made Fallout 4, which was fun in the beginning, but when you start getting legendary items at level 1 by chance...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I have the Spray and Pray, which is a pretty good assault rifle. I mean, I like it. It does splash damage and everything, so you don't have to aim well.
That's why it's called Spray and Pray, sir.
Yeah. So I get that gun, right? And fucking... I got it at level 1 once, off of a ghoul.
Yeah. It's one of those RNG drops where it should be set at a certain point where you're far enough into the game where you get it.
Now it's like Skyrim. You don't want to get okay.
With Skyrim, you still had some stuff locked behind things where it was based upon your level, but it's not a weapon that would break the game.
No. But if you got it too early, it wouldn't be at its peak level.
Yeah.
And that's why there were moments where I did all the dungeons before I even started the game.
But that was the thing. You could still technically up the level on some of the weapons anyway, and you could still increase them to your current level.
No, you couldn't. Once you get it, it's stuck at that level. You can
improve it.
You can improve it,
yeah,
but
it'll make it a little bit better.
It wouldn't be as good as if you got it at max level.
It's like with Borderlands. It's like with Borderlands. Depending on where you are when you find a certain weapon.
Yeah, but there's a level cap. There's a level cap. I think 34 in Borderlands 2 was the level cap for most things.
No, I think with the DLC it went up to 50.
No. I'm saying unless you do that's if you do first playthrough.
Yeah.
Then you have to go back and you do True Vault Hunter.
Yeah, but that's what everybody was saying. A lot of people were asking about should I do this side mission now for this weapon? And some people are I don't even do the side missions. I'll run through the main story, get to a certain point. If I start to have issues, then I'll go back, do the side story, get the weapon that might help me a lot more because it'll be at my level, and then I can breeze through stuff, get to the next area.
Yeah, I try not to pick up missions until I'm a high enough level where either I can breeze through. I think
that's my problem. Where it was the same thing I ran into with Skyrim. It was ooh, look, side quest. Ooh, side quest. Ooh, side quest. It'll help me level up faster. Ooh, I get weapons. Okay, cool. And then I level up past it. I'm this weapon was good for 2 levels, and then it sucks now, and it would have been better if I got it now versus then.
That's why I never do the Thieves Guild until later, because I want that Nightingale armor to be peak level.
Honestly, that was the stuff. But honestly, after a point, I got it, and I never used the Nightingale armor.
I liked it because I never did heavy armor.
I never did heavy armor on my thief either. As a thief, but I would do the leather armor, but I would just do the Thief Guild armor. That one actually, the stuff on it, the enchantments and stuff on it, were actually better to what I was doing. I would use certain pieces from the Nightingale for certain things I think the gloves did the increased backstab damage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would use that because I was always stealthy.
I like the aesthetics.
Yeah.
I
wasn't doing fashion souls on it. I was more this are the stats that I want to do maximum damage. I was pretty much min-maxing.
Yeah.
Essentially. So that's how I did it. It was I didn't use the whole set. At a point I thought it kind of looked goofy.
Well, that's the reason why if any of our fans ever played their older Elder Scrolls games, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, and Arena, it was very D&D-esque. You pick your stats, you pick your shit, and then you're stuck with it the whole game, and I respect that.
Yeah. But that's why I think Skyrim was the paradigm shift into we're trying to bring it more to the masses.
Yeah, but
because they're trying to make it a little bit easier.
It took away the fun.
Yeah.
Of building a character.
Yeah, of seeing it progress to the point where it's this is the character I built.
Yeah,
somebody else is not going to do the same thing.
Had unarmored and no weapon, hand to hand. So you can actually build a monk.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
But see, because I mean, honestly, that's the interesting part where, if you look at Skyrim, technically, if you go full thieves, the skill set may not be the same, but you're still gonna delve into like all the thief stuff to get certain things over there. So the build generally will have a base layout, and then you just kind of pick and choose from there. Whereas more the D&D s style, where you're putting, okay, I have to pick specific skills, specific traits to put stuff in, and stuff like that. So what I think the traits that I want are going to be drastically different from somebody else. And you're not going to, unless two people are trying to generally do the same thing, you're not going to have the same build like ever.
Yeah.
It's infinitesimal that you would get somebody that has the same exact build that you don't know of, but it's exactly the same.
Also, that's why I never understood like sneak builds in like MMOs.
It depends.
Because you can't really sneak. I'm gonna sneak up on this enemy while 40 different knights come in and then just waste the whole.
Yeah, I mean, with it makes sense.
ESO. I played a lot of ESO, and
to be honest, never did.
In Final Fantasy Online, you and I played that together.
Well, there wasn't really too much of a stealth aspect in FF14.
There was ninjas.
No, but it was
That's
more
a stealth character is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's stealth to the point where you get bonuses when you come out of stealth through an attack. Versus like with Elder Scrolls, it was more you're sneaking, you're trying to get behind somebody to backstab them. Same thing for so it's not so much sneaking and making sure that they don't know anybody's around. It's more being stealthy to the point where the stealth ability increases the damage that you do. So it's not so much somebody trounces in front of you, it's not gonna fuck up what you're gonna do, because even though they know somebody's there, they're not looking at you. So it's more the stealth aspect where you have like the best way I can equate it is like World of Warcraft, because I played that for fucking years. As a rogue, you had stealth. A warrior runs in, like a rogue will set up, depending on where they need to be, as close as they can get to. Warrior goes in or the tank goes in, gets the aggro. Rogue walks up, shanks the guy, and it's a big chunk of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much that he's trying to sneak around shit. It's more you're stealthy because it increases your damage. That's what I equate it to. So it's not.
Yeah, but
like
again,
to me,
it takes away from the role playing part.
Yeah.
Of the RPG,
But
it takes out the RP part of the MMORPG.
But that's why I would equate it to, it's not so much sneaking. It's more it's more if you want to be able to survive.
I want to play Final Fantasy again. It's just that everything got fucked with my account.
Yeah, but and
I just gave up.
To me, the true stealth games are like generally could be like Assassin's Creed, where if you do get discovered, oh fuck, or even like Tenchu. Tenchu is a good one where it is pretty much called a stealth game, where it's harder to fight enemies head on than it is to just sneak around, and you can kill them like instantly. But you have to figure out the patterns. You got to make sure that certain things happen and certain things don't happen. Because fighting them head on, you can still do it. It's just a lot harder. It's the same thing like Neo. Neo is the same way. You can, if you're stealthy enough, you can get sneak attacks, do big chunks of damage, and you don't have to draw out the fight. But if you fuck up and you're drawing out the fight, there's chances that other NPCs, other mobs can come in and start attacking you. That screws up everything.
Yeah.
So that's the part where that's to me is more of a true sneak stealth game versus MMO. It's called stealth. It's called sneaking. But to me, it's more a utility tool to help with survivability and to help with damage. It's not so much because you can still be a rogue and be like, you can still do the RP aspect of it, because there were RP servers in World of Warcraft where it was like, as a rogue, I'll just go into the corner and I'll hit stealth and you'll just disappear and you'll like walk off someplace.
Yeah.
You're just fading into the background in like a busy city kind of thing. So you can still kind of do that aspect but again, it's not. I wouldn't label it a true stealth game. It's just a utility tool in an open world aspect. So
okay, I figured.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So like again, the same thing. You're not. Stealth isn't a mainstay of a ninja. It's a utility tool to help you either get into position or to be able to at least disengage and be able to survive. That's all it is.
Okay, I feel that. I I still think it takes away from the RP aspect.
Yes and no. Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from with that.
You know
But
what I
again,
mean?
but seeing people do
Like if
like
they
RP
said
stuff.
MMOG, like massively multiplayer online game, I can see that.
Well,
But the RP part of it,
I mean, the role playing side is
like it's very light.
well, the role playing side is preference because you have the hardcore ones and you have the light ones and then you have the ones that are just playing the game to play the game. It's still an RPG where you're still building your character. Your character might be similar to somebody else's, but like how you play it is going to be different. How you react to certain things, how you respond to things is going to be different. Classes, they're still confined within a certain point where it's a class. Same thing for like D&D. You're a monk. I mean, you can still kind of subclass into other things, but it's still your main class is this kind of thing. Where if you subclass into something else, it could mess up what your main class is doing. So it's going to change the whole. It's going to shift how your character reacts, how your character levels up, and stuff like that. So they're trying to simplify it in terms for the MMORPG standpoint, where it's still D&D esque, where you have a class and everybody's going to play it their own way, but you have again like with World of Warcraft, best example because that was the first MMORPG I've ever actually played, or besides Star Wars Galaxies, but it's more you have the hardcore RP players that you have the hardcore RP players that are like, I'm a warrior, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna play it out how my character is. I'm gonna talk like how I think they're gonna talk and stuff like that. Then you have the light ones where they know it's a game. They like the role playing aspect. They'll do the role playing aspect. If it's part of whatever thing they wanted to do, but it's still not necessary to play the game. And then you have the standard just regular gamers like myself. I was never heavily into the RP thing. I never really saw the whole thing with it. But I know it's a game and I'm just playing the game to just escape reality at the time because I'm still going into the world. I'm still technically that character. I'm role playing that character, but I'm not going hardcore in where it's like, oh, I'm doing all the things that I think they would do in the game and da 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 da. It's like no, I'm still me as the character, but I'm just not in the real world. I'm in a digital Digimon style. I'm in a digital world. Kind of thing.
See, like I lose myself. Well, I mean, the problem is I smoke a shit ton of weed while I play it.
Mhm.
Especially when I play D&D with my other group that I play with.
Well, that's because they all like to smoke too. So I mean,
Yeah, so we get super high. I'm usually faded because I got them all into whiskey. So now we all just drink shots of whiskey while we play.
Well, I mean that's the. Well, I mean I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's still the stereotypical thing, when you have these nerdy people meeting up in somebody's basement, has Mountain Dew, Funyuns, Doritos, and stuff like that. The only thing you're missing is smoke weed. You smoke weed, you're gonna be eating Doritos, Funyuns, chips, like fucking cereal,
No, yeah.
whatever's there. So it's the
will-
same thing. You're just adding in weed.
I will consistently be an advocate to smoke weed. Like, smoke weed. It's helped a
Yeah.
lot. Yes, the marijuana can give you anxiety.
Yeah.
It goes away.
I have seen you get anxious when you smoke before.
Well, that's because I get too high and I'm like, all right, my brain can't perceive everything that's happening right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's different things. But it's like to me, essentially, that's still the core aspect of it. You're because the game sessions are long. Of course, you're not gonna want to eat on an empty stomach. You're still gonna eat and like nibble on shit. So it's like, why not enjoy it a little bit more with weed?
Yeah,
'Cause then-
marijuana's fun.
Yeah, because then you're also you might perceive yourself in the
Also,
reality
not
of
to
it too.
go back to what we were saying earlier, but when we were talking about like if you are having a hard time, yeah, ask for help. Like I was on another island and I was at a drunk, like where you drink and paint,
Mhm.
and I was texting D the whole time because I was having a massive panic attack.
Yeah.
And I just
remember that.
asked him to talk to me about comics because it chilled me out.
Yeah.
And it helps. So,
And even though I'm not certified in anything, I don't
No, you don't
I
need
don't
to
know
be
what to say.
certified. Like
It's
all
just,
you need to do is be a
yeah,
pro.
just
You know?
be there for them. Don't be like, oh, I tried to be there for them and da 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 da. Did you ever reach out to them too? Like, did you notice that something was off?
Yeah.
Because it's still a two-way road.
Like
Like,
it's hard for D to know if there's something off with me because I'm always a little off.
Yeah,
But you get like
You
when
can-
I'm quiet. That's
I can,
usually
but
it.
that it's harder to do long distance. But it's like if I do see you consistently, yeah, I can tell when things are off. Same
Yeah.
thing you can do with me. You can tell when things are off.
Yeah.
Just as you just pick up on it. So I mean, if even though you may not be seeing each other consistently now, or even if you like video chat with somebody, or like what I've seen a lot of people do, they have like group video chats. You can still visually see the person, and you might be able to tell that something is off.
Yeah, and don't ever
And,
be afraid to like ask. And if you're being asked, don't ever hide it. You know, 'cause
I know it might be hard to that may be something that you don't want to talk about because some people think it makes them look weak or it makes them vulnerable.
no, being weak is not being able to talk. It takes
Yeah.
a brave person to discuss.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it's that
I didn't mean to
mentality.
like bring this conversation back up. It's just something that I remember that I wanted to say on that topic, just really quickly. But I think this is a good spot to end it. Really.
I think so too. So on that note, I think I think we should try and
Fuck off.
delve. I think we should try and delve into the Assassin's Creed Viking thing a little bit more because I know that was one of the things.
Well, yeah, I think I wanted to do a little research before we go in, like
Yeah.
some Viking research. Well, I mean, I know a bit. Vikings weren't tall.
Nope.
They
Vikings
had a
weren't
very
huge.
poor diet.
Yep.
So they were very short. Like they weren't very short. They're like 5'7", 5'8".
But they were short, relatively skinny.
They were quick. They were very much hit and run
Yep.
strategists.
Yep.
So
But yeah, I think we can delve in on that, and I think hopefully soon we should be getting some games up and running with everything going
yeah,
on.
let us know if there's a game you guys want us to play.
We'll try to see if we can get it. If it's any nostalgic games, let us know and see if we can. If I still have it, I might still have because I still have pretty much all my PlayStation 2, 3 games.
Maybe we'll stream in the beginning. We'll do like an hour of streaming, maybe 2 hours of streaming,
Yeah,
and just talking.
we can try to look at Twitch. We can look
I
at.
know we have like
There's a couple of different streaming
right now.
outlets,
I
too.
think as this recording, we have like 9
9
subscribers, which is pretty good. I feel like Gage from Borderlands 2, where every time she jumps on the Echo Net, she's like, to my 9 subscribers. And then like the next time she's like, all right, all of my 6 people. And she's like, down to my last 3.
Hey, sometimes
Click 2 subscribers.
even look. Just to do a quick wrap up. Even looking at like a lot of people are saying when they're doing like the Twitch streams.
Sorry.
When they're doing like the Twitch streams and stuff like that, it can be really disheartening when you don't have anybody join the stream. But then when there's that one person, even like 1 or 2 people that consistently come back and just like interact with you, that reinvigorated them to the point where they got to where they're at now. Because they were on the verge of giving up, going, I don't think anybody's gonna want to watch it.
I don't think I'll ever give up because this is just a good outlet for
Yeah.
me.
But I'm saying,
I don't
like,
care if nobody watches.
yeah.
As
But
long
eventually,
as I can, like, talk about it.
we're gonna spark interest in something, in somebody.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean,
even if we get one person that consistently comes back,
even
and
if
just
you come
talks
back
with us.
just to hear my little
Rants.
my little tidbits of psychology that I
or
throw
yeah, no,
yeah,
or me
no,
say
yeah.
essentially in like a lot of sentences.
That is your go-to word.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, because we have the essential workers, frontline workers, and all of this going
Well,
on.
thank you to them, by the way.
Yes, big shout out to all of them.
Like, I mean, none of them are watching this because they're all doing.
They're busy.
good work.
They're busy saving people.
And to all the people who are like protesting against them because you don't want to stay home anymore, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna. I know.
I will say that too. I'm at that point where it's like, there's
You know what?
What?
Like, you're not putting your family on the line
You're-
to save
yeah.
other people's families.
like, and again, we're trying to wrap this up quickly, but watching a video on Facebook, there was somebody that explained it where, you're protesting because you're saying you're oppressed. You're protesting for for the freedom of the people. No, you're not. You're protesting for your freedom, and you don't give a shit about anybody else
Exactly.
because you feel like you're being oppressed and you want your freedom
It's the same
back.
thing like when people say they're good people, you're not.
Yeah. Because
You
if you
know?
have to point it out, not so much.
Like
I'm not an asshole. No, you are an asshole. Just what level of an
You know
asshole,
what it is? So it's really hard for me because like when people say like, oh, the Jeffrey Dahmer was a shitty human being. No, not in my opinion.
He inspired people. Granted, he inspired people in the wrong way, but he still inspired people.
Yeah, it's true. Well,
So-
you know what? I'll discuss that next time on my next psychological lesson to
Yeah,
you guys.
we'll go into that one. So, just, yeah. So,
Yeah.
see you in the next one.
Okay, bye.